There is a story in Hindu mythology about why women menstruate. The story goes something like this. Indra, who is believed to be the king of gods, once happened to kill a sage. For some reason, let's not go deep into the story. So Indra once killed a sage, and killing a sage is considered to be a huge sin. When Indra came back to his senses, he realized how big mistake he has done, and he was well aware of the serious consequences that he might have to face in the future. So Indra started looking for someone with whom he could share his sin. It is believed that 1/4 of Indra's sin was taken by trees, 1/4 was taken by earth, 1/4 by water, and the rest 1/4 by women. All of them agreed to face the consequences that came as a result of sharing this sin. And menstruation that happens in women every single month is considered as the consequence of taking Indra's sin upon themselves. This is how the story is, and let's not debate on the story. Instead, what we need to think here is menstruation really a curse or a blessing in disguise for a woman? Rtu Vidya is a book that will give you a holistic understanding about menstruation and menstrual practices that happen in India. The author of this book, Sinu Joseph, is a social worker. She has travelled across the cities and villages in India and done a wide research in the area of menstruation and reproductive health in women over the last 10 years. In this book, she shares with us her experience interacting with the women in the villages as well as in the cities of India. How they look at menstruation, what menstrual practices they follow, and what impact this has on a woman's health and things like that. Now, when we talk about menstrual practices, here we are referring to the Hindu way of doing things. This book is narrated based on the Hindu ideologies. So if you are someone who do not believe in Hindu ideologies, you might not feel connected with this book. You can skip this book, no issues with that. But if you are interested to know what this book has in general, keep watching this video. Rtu Vidya talks about menstruation from a scientific as well as from a religious point of view. The science we are referring here is not the modern science but the ancient Indian sciences like Ayurveda, Tantra Shastra, etc. The author begins this book with the topic of Menarche. Menarche is basically when a girl gets her first periods. Generally in India, people do some rituals when a girl in their family gets her first period. I think this is common in every religion. The rituals though is different in different places. In urban scenarios, these kind of rituals have become a sort of choice these days, but the author says that in villages, menarche is still a big thing. In villages, when a girl gets her first period, it is celebrated as a big function. Sometimes they even invite people from all over the village to attend this ceremony. The point here is it is believed that a girl's memory about her first period matters a lot. It determines how she looks at menstruation when she grows up. It is believed that if she has good memories to cherish about her first period, she is probably going to develop a respect towards her body and she is going to have a positive attitude towards menstruation throughout her life. That is why menarche is still a big thing in villages. Then you get to read about some dietary recommendations for a menstruating girl, what kind of food she should eat and how it will help her body, etc. Also, the author recommends a book called Ayurvedic Healing for Women by Atreya if someone wants to learn more about women health and things like that. So if you are interested, you can definitely check out that book. Also, at the end of every chapter, the author gives a lot of references which simply says how much research has gone into writing this whole thing. Sinu Joseph is also the founder of a trust named Maitri Speaks, which is based in Karnataka. The Maitri Speaks team has created an animated short video to educate teenage girls about menstrual hygiene. This video is available on YouTube. It is in English as well as in many Indian languages. So if you are a mother to a teenager or if you are a teacher who deals with teenage girls, then you can definitely use this video as a resource to educate them. I will leave the link to this video in the description box below. If you are interested, you can definitely check it out. After menarche, we get to read chapters about menstrual blood, how menstrual blood should be, how much bleeding is normal, what color of the blood means what, etc. Now comes the most debatable subject of menstrual seclusion. Here the author shares with us some do's and don'ts that are recommended for a menstruating woman as per Ayurveda and other ancient sciences. Usually in villages, women follow this tradition religiously, but it is not like the urban world do not believe in menstrual seclusion at all. I know people who sit in a different room for the first 4 days of their periods. And we are not talking about people who are forced into this. We are talking about people who do this by choice and are happy about it. So the problem is not really the traditions. The problem is how these traditions are being followed. Menstrual seclusion is basically nothing but giving your body a few days of rest. That is how it is meant to be. So when it comes to urban women, they do not face any difficulties as of such to follow this tradition because they are safe inside their own houses with all the facilities they need. But that is not the case for a village woman. In villages, they live in small houses, so women step out of their houses. They even move into small huts to stay away from things during menstruation, which becomes a different kind of issue to bother about in today's time. This book has a lot of things in detail. These are just the glimpse of content inside this book. The author says that women in rural areas, they believe in these kind of traditions very religiously, and all they ask for is better facilities for them to follow these traditions and not really a ban on these traditions. Now, naturally, a question arises, what about working women? A working woman cannot think of taking 4 to 5 days of off from work every single month, right? Even though the concept of period leave has come into scene lately, still the menstrual problem of a working woman remains as a big question. In this book, the author has dedicated a whole chapter for women in sports. This applies to women in other sectors as well, but sports is specifically that area where a woman is expected to do heavy physical activities, sometimes even while she is menstruating. And this becomes a serious issue to bother about. Now let's talk about the second part of this book, which is all about the religious aspect of menstruation. Here the author talks about Hindu temples, the impact certain Hindu temples have on a menstruating woman. She shares her own experiences around this topic. And after that, she talks about 2 major temples in India where menstruation is celebrated like anything. It is believed that the goddess in these 2 temples menstruate at regular intervals, and these few days of the menstruation is celebrated like a big festival in these 2 temples. If you have any guesses which temples I'm talking about, type in the comment section. Having said that, Sinu Joseph has published a book earlier named Women in Shabarimala. She published it in the year 2019. She says that that book was supposed to be a chapter in this book itself, but back then when Shabarimala issue popped up, she thought of publishing it as a separate book in itself. I haven't read that book. If you have read that book, let me know in the comment section what did you feel about it. Should I read it or not? So that's all for today's video. Ladies, I insist you get this book for yourself. Read it, spread the word about this book in your circle. Even men should read this book to understand the women in your life a little better. And I hope you got an idea whether this book is of your interest or not. If you have any questions about this book, drop it in the comment section. And if you would like to share any traditional knowledge about menstrual practices or anything related to menstruation, do share it in the comment section. I would like to hear from you. Before I go, thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you are new on this channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit on that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. See you in my next video. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.